Well, boys, that was quite the eventful intro to the fourth episode of the Running the Ropes podcast.
Wait,
I'm
that was
your
the intro?
host, Rabbit. This is your co-host, Iceberg, and your other co-host, JT Stark, otherwise known as not John Cena because he never has a fucking camera. Um,
It'll change. It'll change.
So anyway, boys, let's get right down to it. It's been a few weeks, probably actually a couple months since we were able to get our last one out, unfortunately. So we got a lot to talk about ahead of Elimination Chamber. Um, other than Jada Parker. Let's start it off with recent roster releases. Now, obviously, the WWE and other companies are not shy to releases. I mean, ever since TKO took over, we've had a lot of releases from the WWE, especially in 2024. But after the onslaught that we got, involving Lashley and Ricochet and whatnot, pretty much people expected it to slow down, but then they hit us with a couple more at the end of the year. Um, that nobody expected, including Baron Corbin uh, and Indy Hartwell. Also Tegan Knox, but Indy Hartwell and Baron Corbin stuck out because, for one, Indy Hartwell literally was on TV the day she got cut. She literally got cut as she walked to the back, which was crazy for some people. A lot of people were complaining that that was the type of behavior that Vince used to do prior to AEW's inception. And a lot of people were out here talking about Baron Corbin not, never getting a fair shake in the WWE. And that's where, I want to bring Baron Corbin up, even though it's been a couple months, because I seen a lot of that. I seen a lot of people saying, he got did dirty. They never gave him a fair run. But in my opinion, I feel like, man, this man's gotten more gimmicks, more runs, more pushes, more tries than anybody I've seen in the WWE probably ever. You know what I'm saying? So, what do you think about that, JT? What do you think about Corbin?
Corbin, he's always been a very solid talent for the most part. Not someone you should give a championship, but someone to put over a strong baby face.
Yeah. You really
So
surprised
I
at
was
that
kind of
release?
surprised by it. I do see him coming back eventually, though.
What you think, Kelly?
Yeah, so I just think that the WWE roster is just way too loaded, man. You know,
Way
um,
too
in ter-
late.
yeah, in terms of just not getting the right push, or just not getting the right time, time on screen and the storylines. I mean, there's only so much to go around. I mean, as a matter of fact, I think they struggle right now getting people the right amount of screen time and the right storylines. I mean, there's only a couple of belts. I mean, you know, so I think these releases, I mean, it's just the cream of the crop in WWF right now, WWE. So I'm not surprised about any releases. Corbin is going to be okay. That's why they got AEW. That's why they got, different things, avenues he can go into.
Yeah,
Nothing's like WWE though. Don't get me
yeah.
wrong, but
TNA would be good for him, I think.
yeah. So, he'll be all right. But man, you got to bring it in WWE, man. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of politic in there. I mean, tons of it. I know that Triple H kind of I know he's like veering away from the Vince McMahon era where it's just so cutthroat there. But man, it's like any sport, any franchise. I mean, if you're not running the ball the same as you did last year, I mean, you could be on the chopping block. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And that's why, like, a lot of these that we just recently seen this month or a few weeks ago, I really wasn't surprised with. And you said earlier, JT, you'll think you'll see him back, but you know what? I don't think so. And if you do, then why? Because, like, for instance, Rizar and the authors of pain, And then Carl Anderson and Gallows, the Good Brothers. I mean, they came back for what? To get cut again? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think at this point, this is TKO stepping down and trimming the fat. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and I think at the end of the day, Triple H was trying to do right by his people that Vince did wrong, but TKO was just like, nah, we're not gonna hold people. Like, we're gonna trim that fat. Fuck that. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And like a lot of these guys, I mean, Giovanni Vinci got his old gimmick, and had one or two, had a whole video package, and then who had two terrible losses to Cedric Alexander, who also got cut. Um, there was no, I mean, one thing that I didn't understand was Sonya Deville, but I mean, if you're mentioning Indy Hartwell, you're like, okay, I guess, but why make the whole new faction and have that whole faction have a moment in the Royal Rumble just to cut her the next day or some shit? Like,
Yeah, it makes
but
you think that there's some type of maybe contract disputes or just, in terms of like, because I do find it odd to be on. There's only a finite amount of time on TV you can have, and for them to be on a PLE or a Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, and then the next day be gone, or even the next week, or to build some type of storyline with them, even if it's just a minor one, and then they're gone. I feel like there's just more to the story to that. You know what I mean?
right,
Because why would
that's
you
what
waste your time?
right. That's what makes me think, because like Indy and Candace, they were building them up. They had them a heel turn and everything. That makes me think like that's a TKO decision. Like they're reaching down and like, nah, cut them. We didn't like them. Fans didn't like them. Booed them, and they're just like, all right, I guess. You
Yeah,
know,
they got so much like research and technology now that they could pretty much pinpoint when everybody turns the TV off.
Yeah, it was
Right.
Somebody's
probably
on.
more like a business decision on their part.
Yeah.
They probably doesn't see as much value in like certain people and like people that are gonna draw versus people who they think aren't gonna draw.
But I tell you
It's
what,
not like Vince who did everything like from like
emotionally based.
yeah, then they're just gonna be like they're not gonna make us money, so we're gonna get rid of them.
But three of these really did surprise me. I'll go from least surprising to most surprising. Number three was Duke Hudson. They had that whole year long chase you. They're putting all that investment into this guy on NXT. Duke Hudson and Adrian Chase. And then they cut him as soon as their program's done. You would think that they ended the chase you to bring this guy to the main roster, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
JT.
mean, yeah. I
Yep.
mean,
Right.
I don't know, man. Something must have came up with that one. I mean, some of these are shocking. Like, I was shocked when they released Bobby Lashley. What was that, like last year? Um, like I was like, I thought he was a big star. You know what I mean?
Was
As a
he
matter of fact,
released or did they not renew his contract? I think they just didn't
same,
re-sign him.
I
yeah, same
think
thing
I
though.
think he wanted out though. I think because MVP and Shelton were over in AEW and they were going to do the Hurt Business again. I think he just chose to leave. He made a few comments about basically he was a Vince guy, you know, and Vince,
Speak.
Vince took care of him and saw like he was a Vince type build, like the big builds, whatever. But that when Triple H took over, they just kind of just forgot about him.
Yeah, and the thing about Bobby Lashley is he wasn't consistently booked good. Like he would have moments where like, he's pushed to the moon and then moments where they're just like doing nothing with him.
Yeah, like what they did with the primetime players and him, man, they didn't do shit with that, bro.
So I heard a rumor, and call it the cheat sheets or whatever. Who knows how fucking true it is? I heard Bobby
Sure.
Lashley is on his way back, and he's going to be repackaged as a heel. that he was in talks already. So I don't know.
Let's see.
I just,
Bobby Lashley AEW contract. This is how we do that. As AEW. I can't find anything about the extent of his contract because I've seen some of these guys only do like 6 month year contracts.
right.
You know,
My
That's
guess
just
is
what
probably signed for either a year or 2 years, but he's a big talent though, so I doubt they'd sign him to just a short term deal, especially since Tony Khan's being very petty with his talent.
I'm sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true with the Ray Phoenix shit and all that.
Well, there's another rumor I heard. Speaking of Vince McMahon, because he's exonerated. I mean, everything.
Oh, you
Nothing.
started a new business in Fox?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know about that. I mean, it's possible because of his ties to Fox. But
I just think the question is, is he that bored?
That's what I'm saying. I just don't see it. I mean, it's like, why, dude? Like, why even? He left. He left
Yeah, I think
beforehand
Vince
anyway.
was constantly working for like 40 plus years, didn't have any days off.
He really only came back to facilitate that sale, and I mean, Triple H was still running it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
there's
don't know
just
though,
no
man.
point. You're gonna fucking spend what? How many years you got left on this earth, and you're gonna spend it trying to build a company to compete with these fucking juggernauts?
Just by AEW.
Hey, listen, Vince McMahon. One thing I know about him, bro, you can't count him out on anything, man. That guy's a machine. He looks like he's gonna drop dead any day now, but he's not. I bet that motherfucker's healthy as hell. I mean, this dude is a machine, man. And now he's clear. No more court. No more nothing. I don't know. He got a lot of time on his hands now, and he's got a name to clear, reputation. I don't know.
I could see him starting a new company just to take down WWE.
I tell you what, if he did,
that's how petty he probably is.
if he decided to do that, he would would he not sell tickets for that? I mean, he would get a lot of heat. He would get a lot of good promotion out of that, man. So, it's that, or he's going to start a fucking football league.
He could.
He already did that. I don't think that's a good idea.
He's always wanted to.
This fucking.
Well, he did the XFL, but you seen how that went.
Yeah, but The Rock and TKO got XFL now. They brought it back already.
I wonder what the fuck. I'm trying to figure out, like, where the hell did they remove this feature? Hold on. Yeah, why the fuck can't I do that? One sec. Oh, there we go. There we go. My second biggest surprise in those roster releases was Isla Dawn from the Unholy Union.
Oh yeah, because they, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they win the tag titles?
They were just the tag champions this year. They just came up from NXT after being champions down there. They were hot.
That's one of the ones I'm very surprised about.
I don't understand. They should have kept them around. They should have been steady in the title picture. I mean, if you want to legitimize the women's tag team champions, I get it. Like the match they had this past Monday on Raw, those are a lot of juggernauts right there, right? But like, if you really want to legitimize those tag team championships and not just be the titles used as a tool to advance the singles titles pictures, and give them their own division. I mean, there's no better team. There was no better team in the WWE for women's tag teams. And then you remove them? What? They had a good gimmick. They were good in the ring. They were good on a mic. I didn't understand that one at all. So that had to be some sort of contract dispute right there, for sure. I mean, Unholy. Here, let's see. Isla Dawn contract I mean, let's see if I can find something. So it says, here we go. Isla Dawn breaks silence. Let's see. Issued her full statements as being released by the company earlier this month. She says, Dawn confirmed the news herself on social media, but posted says, here for a good time, not a long time. See you in 90. So it doesn't really say much other than she got a 90-day compete, which didn't they make that shit illegal? 90-day non-competes?
No, I think you could. I think you could definitely do that in the entertainment business.
Nah, I'm pretty sure they just passed something where you couldn't do 90-day non-competes. That's why fucking Penta was able to come right away, and why Tony wanted to pull the injury card on Ray Phoenix to stop him, because there was no 90-day, because they passed a bill or something to make it illegal.
Oh, I just heard that AEW just don't do those because they're fucking dumb.
No, they do them all the time.
Well, they didn't do it to Punk.
Yeah, but that's because Punk put that in his contract.
Oh, well, they're stupid.
No, actually, no. Punk did have a 90-day.
No, I don't
No,
know.
I think he did have it in his contract. Yeah, I think that's what Punk said that on Ariel Helwani, I think.
Yeah, I watched an interview where he said he didn't have a non-compete.
Yeah, but Punk, I mean, Punk's good like that. He's been around the business. He was probably like, nah, fuck that. I'm not doing no non-competes. You know.
I know, but that's weird though, because it's like I know
when
at the
you have
time,
star power like Punk, you can probably
but at the time he wasn't even going to go back to WWE though. I mean, good thing he did it, but I'm just saying though, like he had long-term plans in AEW. I think the
Did he
way
sign
everything
a
is
second
set up.
contract there? I don't know. I think he just kind of just was like, I'm just gonna put this in here because this is just good contract making. You know, you never know
No,
what
for
the future
sure.
holds.
No, good thing he did. I just thought AEW just wasn't really like at the time doing
Or
good
maybe
deals.
TK was too full of himself and thought because he was the Messiah for bringing him back to wrestling that he didn't need to put one in there. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
But he's the only one I've ever heard of that did that. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where. It doesn't say. She doesn't actually say like what happened. But it's just a clickbait article. But it's weird that I don't get it. I don't, because like, what about Alba Fire? Like, they weren't. Maybe they weren't brought in at the same time, so they had different contracts. Or maybe Isla Dawn was just asking for more money than Alba Fire.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, who would you see as the star of that group, Unholy Union? Alba Fire or Isla Dawn?
Probably Alba, I would say. But I think they were both kind of around the same when it comes to talent. But I'd say Alba though.
It's pretty weird. But it's speaking of, and someone which I didn't really understand why they were putting her with them. So this kind of like, I guess it makes these two less surprising, but because why would they even put Blair Davenport with these? I didn't understand when they did that, but that's the most surprising to me is Blair Davenport. I mean, that's a singles competitor right off the rip. Honestly, I thought she was gonna win the, what was it, the Intercontinental? Which tournament was she in? Women's Intercont. Was it the US or the? I think it was the Intercontinental because I picked Chelsea Green to win the US. Let me double check that. She was in the Women's Intercontinental Championship tournament bracket. She was in. No, she wasn't in the Intercontinental because they had Alba Fire by herself in that.
Oh, that's why my background wasn't working.
US
Because I didn't turn my camera off.
Oh, you figured it out?
Yeah. Now I'm not John Cena.
Here we go. Was she in this one? Yes. Okay. She was in the U.S. title tournament. So, which is unfortunate. But I could have swore it was gonna be her or Chelsea Green that won this title. And then all of a sudden they cut her. Like she was a rising star. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't you push her? They didn't give her even a single fucking match other than that tournament match.
Right.
Like, we still got fucking B-Fab and Michin.
The thing is
But
Yeah, if anything, if anyone should have been released, it should have probably been BFAB. Like she's okay, but there's definitely better talent than her, in my opinion.
right.
yeah, I mean, the thing is, man, they got so many people, and they're probably just thinking in their head like, you know what, we'll just replace her, and but yeah, it's shitty, you
But
know.
like, see, man, that just throws me off because it's like, bro, okay, look at this. Look at this women's tournament card, right? They had Bailey. Obviously, they're not gonna get rid of Bailey. Jade Cargill. Obviously, they're not gonna get rid of Jade Cargill. They had Bianca Belair, Naomi, Tiffany Stratton, and Chelsea Green. Obviously, none of them, right? Then they had Piper Niven. Probably won't get rid of her. But then you have Alexa
I
Lopez.
could see them getting rid of her though.
I could see it. I
She
could see
did,
it,
but
but right, I could see it, but probably not just because of Chelsea Green, right? But then they had Alexa Lopez, who they got rid of. Then they had Michin. I mean, I I, I don't think Michin should be around. BFAB. I don't think she should be around. And honestly, they've been pushing the shit out of Candice LeRae, but if it wasn't for Johnny Gargano, she could get the fuck on too, bro. That's crazy to me that they cut Blair.
Yeah, I mean, hey, to me, to the casual fan, bro, like she ain't on no headlines. She ain't main event nothing. Like I don't know her. I only know from doing a little,
But it's
watching
like,
her.
what's the point of NXT really? Because isn't that the point? Is to pick out the cream of the crop so that they could push on the main roster, right? Like Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah. So my thing is when by the time they make it to the main roster, okay, does it work?
Then why
Yeah.
bring them up if you ain't got a plan for them?
Yeah, but sometimes the plans don't work. I mean, these dudes aren't infallible, man. I mean, right now, to me, WWE right now is losing steam.
Bro, they
And
didn't even give her a fucking match. They didn't give her an angle. They didn't give her a fucking promo.
that's the thing about these big corporations is they don't care. Like if you're not making the money, you're irreplaceable.
I
Yeah,
get
but
what you're saying.
how
No, I
can you
get
even make them money? It's just a
so,
wasted fucking talent.
something had to happen.
Right. You
Something had to happen.
I'm not gonna make you money if I'm not fucking cutting even a single promo or making a single match.
There's a lot of politics involved,
I
bro.
feel like you have to let somebody cut at least one promo, or they're never gonna sell you merch.
No, yeah, you got to put them on TV. You got to package them right too. You got to hit them with the right package, right angle, put them on TV, and let them crash and burn. At least one segment. Fuck.
Right. I mean, what's the difference between Lyra Valkyria, who's the Intercontinental Champ, and not only the champ, but is defended against Dakota Kai and several times? Really good matches, but honestly, I feel like Dakota Kai carried those matches. But prior to her push, what did she have that Blair Davenport didn't have? Promo time, interview time. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's no
Well,
difference.
someone in the back probably really like her character or something, or like I don't know, like something with politics where they just
I
wanted
mean,
to
is it as simple as
keep her versus.
the entrance where they're like, woo, 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 which is kind of like Ric Flair's thing anyway, or Charlotte Flair's thing anyway, but whatever. I mean, is that what they ride on now? I mean, look at Jey Uso. Are they just riding on people who fucking engage in the entrance? Is that their gigameter?
That's what gets the crowd to react. So probably.
I mean, do heels? Does that apply to heels? Are heels supposed to get the crowd to react like that, or is that just a face thing?
Well, if they're heels, they're gonna be getting big boos
Booed?
and people,
I feel
like
like you got
negative
a promo to
reaction.
get a boo. You got to like piss someone off, you know?
It just depends. I mean, like they booed The Rock when he first came out. And he was trying to be, a baby face, but everybody thought he was corny and he was getting pushed to the moon. Um, and then it wasn't until, like you said, until he did the promo where he was like, fuck you guys. And then,
And then
everybody
boom, now he's a moneymaker because he got a fucking promo.
and everybody liked him. So he was doing heel shit, but people would cheer him. So,
Yeah, the
fuck.
thing about like promos and stuff like that is like, TV time costs. So like they have to make sure it fits in the program for them to cut a promo or
Plus,
anything like that.
plus you're right. You're exactly right. Plus, we got to remember, man, this is a totally different era of wrestling. Man, they actually give you your promos now. Everything's scripted. Even the bumps, they count how many bumps you take in the fucking ring. Like, oh, you're only going to take 10 bumps tonight. Like, I mean, they choreograph everything. That's why some of this wrestling is not that good.
I mean that's true, and that could
Yeah,
that could be a
overly
thing.
choreographed doesn't necessarily mean it's better. It means it's like
Well,
sometimes
some people
things are
make it look
too.
organic, and then some people make it where it's like real
Yeah,
stiff.
some of it's good if you're good, right?
Yeah,
But some of
Yeah,
it
it
don't. Like,
depends on the person, but some people don't have the
yeah, I
skill
mean, but
enough
that's a
to
give and
really
take,
call
and
matches in the ring, so they have to rehearse it and put things together before the
but
proper
that's the
match
thing.
starts.
That's a give and take because some people aren't good at calling it, and some people aren't good at scripting. I mean, it is what it is. I don't really fret on that, but that's a good point, though, as to explanation is why we're not understanding. Perhaps something's happening in the background there where she's like, I'm not liking this. I'm not liking what you're giving me. I'm not liking that. And she's labeled as hard to work with. Or she's
Mhm.
going for it, but during rehearsal, she's not
Yeah,
impressing.
yeah. It could be either one of those. You're totally right. I think that's what it's got to be, somewhere in that realm where, either she's going for it and it's just they're looking at her like, man, we thought she was going to be good, but it's just not like translating. Or like you said, maybe it's on her where she's like, man, I highly doubt, a talent out there that hasn't made it big yet is turning down, angles and storylines and gimmicks, but you never know. She could be religious. I don't know. You know what I mean? She could be like, no, I don't want to wear that, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to say that. And they're like, okay, see ya. Someone
Or it
else will.
could just be they just don't see a fit for her. Like it could be as simple as that. Like nothing political or anything. It could be just
I
like
guess,
they
but then
either don't like her
if
or
that's
she
the
just
issue,
doesn't fit.
then if it comes down to that, then I have a problem with it because it's
Or
like,
they just,
like,
was trying to
Why
cut
bring
some
her up?
people.
right? Why
Like you
bring her
said.
up?
Yeah, like you said though, Jack. Like, why bring her up if they didn't have a plan? Clearly they had a plan and it didn't work out. You know.
Yeah, but it could.
Well, creative probably had a plan. I can't even talk. TKO probably didn't.
I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head, Kelly. I think what happened had to have been optimistically, of course, because I don't want to accept the idea just yet that WWE's back to just not having a fucking plan for shit.
Right.
Um, I do think it is likely that perhaps whatever they had for her wasn't working out backstage during rehearsals, and they had to put her on the back burner. And while they were letting her simmer, figuring something new out, TKO came in and just cut her ass, swept it. How many days
Yeah.
since she's been on TV? Gone.
Yeah.
Oh, your plan got canceled. Well, what's your new plan? Well, we don't have one. Gone. You know, just no fucks given. Like we're a juggernaut. We're not holding on to people. It's like training camp. We'll let you if by midseason you're fucking shit, you're released. We're signing a free agent. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, look at it this, like, like NFL or whatever. Like, they might have someone who's like a a talented individual on their roster, but like they have to find someone to cut before the regular season, or like look at it from that standpoint. Maybe like they just
Yep.
had to find someone, and then that was the person that's
Unlucky number. Yeah,
necessary to
maybe.
cut.
But in my opinion, that's where it comes back to. Unlucky number? Nah, can't be. Can't be. B-Fab, bro. B-Fab?
And then
You
just
couldn't give
because
B-Fab the unlucky number?
they're released doesn't mean like they won't ever come back too. They can, now that they made their self as a name in WWE, like they can make their self a name for themselves on the independents and then
I
come back.
mean, you got to think about it like this. Blair was already out there in the independent, made a little name for herself. You know what I'm saying? Like in my opinion, this was her big go. You know, so,
I can
but
Yeah.
see her coming back though.
you know, I guess
BFAB was released and she came back.
I wasn't gonna I wasn't gonna put this next, but I might as well, since we're talking about coming back and making a go of it and already having a name. Let's do that next topic. Does Karrion Kross survive without the Final Testament?